All right, so we're going to train on Google Data Studio right now. What we need to do first and foremost, and this will be Google Data Studio, creating a Data Studio form based off of JotForm information for one of our advanced searches. So we need to go into the PGA Career Services Google site here, or have it underneath our login for the G Suite under Career Services, PGA Career Services at pgahq.com. And we'll go to Google Data Studio. So datastudio.google.com. And we want to go into our main file area for all of our reports we've created. I'm going to utilize Eagle Ridge right now to go through this training. But once you click on it, it'll bring up the data here. Computer's running a little slow. But really what we want to do is we want to go in and edit. That way we can make a copy of this report. We're going to keep the same data source for the time being. So I'm going to copy that report. On that previous screen, you can change out the data source potentially, but a lot of times it's easier to actually do it within once we're creating the Data Studio itself. So now we've created a copy. So you can change the name up here if you have a name of a different facility. As you can see, it does bring in all of the information from our applicants here. But what we're going to do when we're creating a new one, we're going to get rid of all of these data points. So we're going to select down here within the chart. We're going to go to the second page and do the same thing. The reason that we're going to do that is as we try to bring in new data, we have to get rid of that information. But now we just have our blank title page. So if we'd have a different facility, we'd go up here into this text box, type in the name of the new facility. So again, Eagle Ridge Resort and Spa. And it's a director of golf, and that has its own text box as well. And then we would get rid of this image. Insert our new one. So go to Insert and then down to Image. And then we'll have a box that we're able to figure out where we want to paste that. Select our file that we have. So we're just going to put Eagle Ridge back in for the time for this demonstration. And now we're going to get ready to go in and bring in our new data so we can have all of the information. And this will only work once an application had been done on JotForm. If no application's been put through through the JotForm, then what we end up running into is we have no data to pull from. So actually, I'm sorry, clicked the wrong thing. Add a chart, and we use this top left table here. So we're going to bring that in. Select the area that we want to place it in. And so right now it's going to pull from our data source. So if we need to go and find a new data source, though, we'd go to Add Data. We'd go to our Google Sheets, and then we would find our JotForm number. Again, our JotForm number is interconnected to the case number of the facility within Salesforce that we've created. So again, I'm still going to use Eagle Ridge. So I know that this is the number for it. I'm going to go to the GDS data, which has been created through the JotForm submissions, and we're going to add that in. Okay. And now our data source will be up here, and it'll pull in our names. Now we can start setting up all of our submission points, or as far as the information that we want within our table here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of our metric count. We don't need to know that that's just one record from each individual. We can't get rid of this name at this time until we have something else to replace it. So instead of the first name, we're going to put our full name in there. And then we're going to go and put our email contact in. And you can set this up however you would like. Oops, I replaced it on top of it. So what we want to do is we want to do that. Put the email in, adding a dimension. That way it comes right underneath. And then you can even move around how those dimensions work. So we're going to keep the full name first. We can start adjusting the size of our rows and columns here. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to bring in a resume. Now, to bring in a resume, we need to create a field. So typically we'll name this view resume link. Now I've already created this field for this, so I'm just gonna put links to distinguish between. And what we do is we need to create a hyperlink. So we type in hyperlink down here. And then we need to tell it to go find the information that we're looking for, which is our Google Drive resume URL. The reason we do this is it creates a cleaner link to the URL. We could actually pull this in, but it would have the full web address of it, and we don't want that. It doesn't look as clean. And then we want it to say view resume. And all of that information is set up within Google Sheets. This is where it's pulling it from. So that's how we create a hyperlink. And we're going to save that. And done. And then we're going to go over here and look for view resume links. And now I'm going to add that as a dimension. And now we have our resume link that we can utilize as we're viewing the GDS. The other thing we did do here as well is we did have candidate match score, so we can bring that in. And that's typically a pretty good amount of information on our page 1. So as you set this up, you can kind of see here, if you click in the box, you get all of your squares. You can resize, move around however you feel it needs to be moved around to create the document as you see fit. If we want to change some of this information here, as far as like how the print comes out, how everything looks within this table, we'll actually click on Style. We want to show a header. We can wrap the text if we feel like it's too long. We can change our colors here, the table levels, table body, table footer. And then within columns, you can change how the information looks if you want to center it. Left justify, border colors, all of the information are, as far as wanting to style and change the style, change the font size, everything is done within the style up here. So we're going to go back to our data. So we've got our page done now. Now we want to come up here and we want to, I'm actually going to delete this just to get this going. But so I want to duplicate this page. That way the header and all of our information comes in. But what I want to do is I'm going to click back into our table and we're back into the data side now. Now instead of having the email and the resume link and the candidate score, now I'm going to start to bring in the questions from the job form. So typically I would look at the job form questions and see what order they are in and then bring them in that order. You're going to see that we need to adjust some of this. So you can see already how long this is up here. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to my style and I'm going to wrap the text. Because as I bring more information in, this will wrap around and allow me to bring everything into this table in a nice clean way. So I'm just waiting here. The computer's running a little bit slow. So have you ever worked in a resort environment? And then the next question is, well, we don't need to bring in how did you hear about the opportunity? How many years experience? A couple different questions on that. You know, what is your current section? And if we want that, again, we can adjust how we have this in. So you can see now that I had clicked the wrap text, we're able to start getting all of this information in here. And then you can work with the sizing. to make everything look good. So we're struggling on here to get all of these answers in. So I'm going to go back to style. Now I'm going to go into the table body, and I want to wrap my text in that as well. Again, this will make sure that we're getting all of the information in a nice clean way for the facility. And essentially, once we're done with that, we've completed it. Sometimes there's so many questions, we could go to a page 3 if we need to. A lot of times, though, you can get it to look very clean on here. We'll go click up top here to view. And now we're able to click back and forth. And you can click back and forth here. Here's page 1. We can kind of see how it would look to the individual. Page 2, we're going to go back to our edit button, just so we're in here. And then if we need to share it, what we want to do is we're going to go get report link. We need to change the share settings though. Currently you could add individuals in, or if you go to manage access, you can see the link sharing is currently off. We want to create that and put it on. So anyone with the link can view. We do not want them to be able to edit. If they're able to edit, they can break a lot of the information that we're pulling from. So we're going to save that. So we see this really long link. We're going to close out of that because we don't really want to send that long of a link to somebody. So we'll just get the report link. Here they've condensed it. And then just copy link. And you can go and share it with whatever individuals within the position, or if it's another consultant that you've created the GDS for. So that is producing a GDS report. Fairly straightforward. Now we can do a lot of other things. If you're trying to pull from other information, we need to get into a little bit deeper detail on how to create your own Google Sheet and what information you're trying to pull from. If there's only certain applicants, what you would want to do is you'd want to go out, and again through our career services you can access this, but you can go into the Google Sheets. So this is Eagle Ridge, again the 0015018. You can see the GDS data down here. And what you would do, and I'm not going to do this specifically, but let's say that some of these individuals are not moving forward and you only want to see the ones that are, you can actually delete out the rows, and then that will make the change over here within the report. So feel free to ask any questions or reach out to me. I'm happy to help walk through. Thanks.